Pasuk says, Drosh et Hashem b'imtzao. We should go and seek for Hashem while He is close. And the Chazal tell us this is in the Seret Teshuva, where Hashem's Hashem's hand is stretched out to us and says, "Take my hand, and we will do Teshuva." The Rish Lakish says in Masechet Yuma, the Feivav, that whoever does Teshuva from fear, his averot they did in Nazlo will turn into averot as not on purpose, by accident. And then if you do Teshuva from love, all your mitzvot, all the averot the person did will turn into mitzvot, opposite. So we have a tremendous opportunity to do tremendous Teshuva and to make for ourselves, to make the judgment for be successful and be written in the Sefer of Tzaddikim, in the book of life. As the Rambam says, everyone has to assume that they are 50-50. We have to assume we are Benoni, not Binoi, Benoni. They have to assume that a person is 50 mitzvot, 50 averot. If he does one mitzvah, he'll zocher and he'll be written in the book of life. If he does one averah, has v'shalom, the opposite. And we are standing and waiting till the day of Yom Kippurim, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if you do Teshuvah, I forgive you, and we start over, and you get written in the book of life. And Chas v'shalom, the day of Yom Kippur does not mechaper unless the person does Teshuvah. So we should do Teshuvah, Belev Shanem, in these days. And the Arizal says, every single day of a Seder Teshuvah, you can make up for every single day of the year that is the same day of the week. For example, today is Monday, you can make up for all the Mondays of the year. Tomorrow's Tuesday, you can make up and do Tuesday properly, and you'll make up for all the Tuesdays you messed up during the year. Tremendous opportunity. Shabbat Shuvah, make up all the Shabbatot of the year. So a person has to not let this time go to waste. As the Hatam Sofer one time in Teshuva wrote, he says that he wrote in a letter to somebody. He said, I'm sorry, I wrote a very short response, but it's the days of the month of Elul and Tishrei. There was barely any time, I had barely any time to do anything else besides be busy with the mitzvah of Teshuvah. So we should all be zochet to do Teshuvah Shleima. And that includes on the food that we eat. You know, now it's the season, very much so, for to be able to be very makpid on Kemach Yashan. Which means that the Torah in Parashat Emor tells us it is forbidden from the Torah to eat wheat that is from this current year's season. The person cannot have Kemach Hadash, a new wheat that they planted after Pesach and they reaped before the next Pesach. So therefore a person has to eat Kemach Yashan, which means wheat from the previous season. The Minhat Chinuch writes, this is to show appreciation. A person gets full from what? From the cream cheese or the bagel? No, from the bagel, from the bread. So if we have to show Kadakar, be not Chaz v'Shalom, be Nibla Gadarna and go to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and not listen to his mitzvot, rather be grateful that he gave us bread. And we show gratefulness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu by not eating from the Kemach Hadash. You should know, Rabotai, it's the same thing as eating chochke. It's the same thing as eating pig. It says in the Torah, do not eat pig. It says in the Torah, do not eat Kemach Hadash. It says you have to eat Kemach Yashan. So therefore, we have to be very meticulous. We go to steakhouses. We have to make sure that the meat is Bet Yosef, but we also have to make sure that the bread and everything involved with breadcrumbs and everything that's involved with bread will be also Kemach Yashan. It will be difficult. Sometimes you won't be able to have everything on the menu. But that's what it means to do Teshuvah Shleima, to be able to fulfill this mitzvah. People want to be lenient and say, well, why are not places, if they're kosher, so why they're not Kemach Yashan automatically? They should be Kemach Yashan automatically. So you should know we have Ashkenazi brothers who have a leniency. They lived in Europe, and over there, the ground was frozen until Pesach. They couldn't plant anything. And if the rabbis didn't give them a leniency, so then they would starve, they would have nothing to eat. But you should know, majority of the Rishonim, the Gemara Sechet Menachot tells us that Rabbi Lezer says that Hadash applies even outside of Eretz Yisrael. Ashkenazim, some of them want to comment and say it doesn't apply outside of Israel. Chutz La'aretz, it doesn't apply. No, the Rif writes Alachaz like Rabbi Lezer. Mishnah in Perek Gimel Sechet Orla says that Hadash applies outside of Israel also. The Bach wants to comment and say, no, if it's outside of Israel and it's owned by Goyim, so it doesn't apply. Sefek Sveka. But you should know, Maran Shulchan Aruch in Yoreh De'ah, Siman Resh Tzadik Gimel, he writes explicitly, Kemach Hadash applies both outside of Israel and applies even to B'Shel Goyim. Even if it's owned by a Goy, the field, it applies also. So therefore, according to Shulchan Aruch, we should follow him. And we should do what he says as a majority of the Rishonim. Rabbeinu Bal Avigdor, Rabbeinu Baruch Bal Terumah, and maybe Bodedim, few other Rishonim say this leniency of to eat outside of Israel, Kemach Hadash. But Rov, and Shulchan Aruch himself both say that you have to keep Kemach Yashan and you cannot eat Kemach Hadash outside of Eretz Yisrael. And the Sfek Sveka, the Rashba says every time you have a double doubt, if you could find out the truth, you should do the research. Why should you rely on a doubt? Plus, it's a Sfek Sveka that's subject to change. The later you go into winter, the more and more of Kemach Hadash will come into the market. So therefore, it's not a good sekah to reliance. Therefore, everybody has to make Teshuva on this and start asking. If you go to a bakery, you go to a restaurant, and you ask them, you have Kemach Yashan, you have Bet Yosef? No. Why? You have so many Sfaradim who come to eat in your restaurant every single week. Why don't you have Bet Yosef? Why don't you have Kemach Yashan? Why? You should. What? And I'll get up and I'll leave. I'm not going to eat here. Why should I eat here if you're going to give me a greh? I should pay you to make me do guno. Why should I pay you to help me do sins? So therefore, I'll leave. And what? If many people do this, and many people complain, and then they're going to start doing it. If all the customers come and ask, I want this, the guy who's selling, he's not going to provide them? Of course he's going to provide them. They don't control us, we control them. They live off our dollar. We should ask for what we really deserve. So therefore, Rabotai, you should go and make sure that you ask for Kemach Yashan everywhere you go, and then it will happen. If we don't ask, we're never going to get Chas v'Shalom. So therefore, we should ask. And we have to go and make the Teshuva and remember about Olam Haba every single day. Rabotai, we have to remember that people, sometimes they say, who went to Olam Haba, came back, told us it's true. What is all this? Maski Kruch's Rabbi, Olam Haba, don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay. But you have to know, the Mishnah Pirkei Avot, Perek Dalet says, prepare yourself in this world, because this world is like the hallway. This world is like the smorgasbord. You go and you eat, it's nice, it's very comfortable, but soon, ding, 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 we're going to have to leave, and we're going to go to the ballroom. The ballroom is Olam Haba, the world to come, where we're only going to enjoy from the mitzvot that we did. The Hafetz Chaim says, can you imagine a guy who throws $300,000 wedding, and he spends $250,000 in the smorgasbord. Smorgasbord, he puts 3-4 bands over there, 3-4 catering over there, beautiful decoration, crazy flowers over there. And what? You go in the ballroom, you sit over there, hummus and bread, and that's it. One course, and that's it. And one guy playing violin. This is a busha, it's pazor. So why our Olam Haba is in the same way? Why we invest and we invest and we invest in this world, Olam Hazeh, Olam Hazeh, Olam Hazeh, and we're going to come broke baraban to Olam Haba, Chas v'Shalom. So therefore, Rabotai, we have to wake up, we have to invest in Olam Haba. The mitzvot you take with you, your money, your car, your house, your big party you made, all that stuff, doesn't come with you anywhere, Rabotai. They're not going to take dollars over there. They're only going to take the tzedakah you gave, the Torah you learned, the children that you raised, that you made them tzaddikim, they gave you nahat, the community that you built, that you donated from your time, you volunteered to help build the community, Rabotai. These are things we should be focusing on the days of a certain Teshuva. We should also to do Teshuva.